Welcome back. This is Doug Engstrom with Contemporary Research. Following on our training session on Display Express. In the first two videos we gave you an overview. The last one we showed you how to set up all the controllers and devices and channels in the system. And once you define that, you're ready to create presets, which is the heart of everything we do within Display Express. You can kind of see what presets here in the schedule, where we say that the right displays will go to signage at 9:01 a.m. There's the time. It'll repeat Monday through Friday. And then what's inside that preset is we command the right displays. We're going to change the channel to signage. If we had other commands, they show up as well. On, volume, control level, things like that will show up right here. And that's how the presets are created and what they do. Let's take inside and see how you would do that. You would start by going to Presets and selecting Edit. That brings up a screen, again with that Create, Edit, Copy choices that you have. And on the left-hand side, I'm going to select which displays I want to control. And on the right-hand side, I'm going to show what commands I want to include in that statement. So let's go to a preset I've already created. Let's do something simple like all the TVs go on. We started that by selecting the zone all, so everybody's going to turn on at the same time. And I click Use Commands. And this is very important. I click that bar next to power. That means I want to include this with my preset. And I can say off. Right now I click on. Now I have many other things here. For example, I have HD channel, and I can specify, pick from the list of channels I have, or I can type a channel number in. I can choose an analog channel and include that in the preset. And I only have one in this case. I can set the volume commands. So all the way up would be 63, and 0 would be mute. Control lock is available in many TVs, primarily LG displays and Samsung commercial displays. Have the ability to lock the controls so they're dead to using a wireless control or some other device to control it. They can't use the front panel button. The more special commands, these are the normal ones you would do. Again, that tune ring we talked about in the last segment would be a list of channels only for older smart analog TVs. That's there for legacy systems. Save and restore is a special command where we tell the TVs, when you execute command, we will first tell the TVs to save where they're at for volume and power. And the next time I come back, I can say restore, and the controllers send the TVs back to where they were the last time you told them to save. And then command string, again, are for the more unusual aspects of the system where you want to send some special command to an LG set. And so in here I could type UX, comma, and there'll be a whole command in here I send directly to the LG set over 232. So again, you can do really simple things, but you can do really complex things within the same framework. In this case, all I really want to do is, I have all these settings, but all I really want to do is turn on the set. So I unclick the others and I save that command. Now I'm done. And when you have a lot of repetitive commands, it's helpful, like left to my apps show. Okay, copying that preset allows me to define the right displays to that channel and the center displays to that channel. I just change who I'm talking to, change the name, and I've created a new preset very easily. So the copy function is really helpful as you get through the system to create the presets. The other thing you can do as you're creating the presets, you'll see this in other functions we have, you can click send, and that will send the preset to the assigned TV, and you can watch what happens and see if that's what you want to do. And then finally you can save it once you have a name for it. And we'll always remind you, if you've changed something, we'll light up that save button and say, hey, save this before you leave. As a small note, you might notice that in this session I'm using Opera. In the setup session I used Safari, and in the first session I used Chrome. I'm just showing how easy it is to use the software with a whole variety of browsers, even the more unusual ones like Opera. For those who are doing advanced things, we have special things you could do. One thing I have is an advanced preset, and I'll show an example of one I've already created, which I call a matrix preset. In this example, this is a site that has a number of sports bars, and each one of them have 7 TVs. And we want all of those 7 TVs in the 4 sports bars to go to an array of channels. And this would be complicated to do in the past, where I send each preset one by one by one by one, say in a schedule. You can actually run a list of presets and then save that list. So in this case, I've made this up here, and I can select the preset. And the beauty of this is once I have my array defined, then I could go back to the bottom and change which display I'm going to send the command to. By the way, you can expand this, so I show these commands below. So let's say now, instead of ESPN2, I want that channel to go to the house channel. That has the HDTV channel I show for everybody. And then I say set. And now that'll change. Oh, I have to say use commands, by the way. We give you a back door to make sure you're doing it right. So there I want to this display here for the house channel. So all of that goes within there. So this is a very powerful command. You can do time delays between presets and all sorts of things, but the basic thing is you can have a matrix of sets, change what channels they're going to be, and then save it and come back and edit it later on and put a different set of channels in. So it makes automated presets of very large amounts of TVs possible, because here, I'm doing 7 TVs and 4 sports bars, all with the 7 commands. So it's quite a powerful tool you can do, and then when we're done, we saved it, and now it'll do the new tricks we told it to do. And we have other special types of presets. Macros are things you can do. You can define just the control part. We have some sites that, for example, for Comcast, they want to reserve the right that maybe they want to change the volume every time they go to Comcast Channel 1. And so what they do is they create macros for all the channels. It's a little more work, but it means they can go back there and say, okay, I want the volume to go 33, 34 for this channel, so they can balance out the audio whenever they're switched to all the channels. And that's how one site does it. You can combine multiple commands and just call the group of commands. This is especially good when you have complicated command strings you might use all the time. That way you can save it as a macro and just call the macro when you do the preset rather than have to enter it every time. This also has a control functionality to send. I can create the macro, pick a group or an individual TV, and send it to that TV. Quite simple to do. So that's everything has a test thing. It'll bust you when you don't save it, or you forgot to have something added in there. We try to make this as foolproof as possible. Another interesting command is system. This is another preset you can do, and you can add this to the schedule so that you can put in an automated backup system. So every Friday night you back up your system data. And you can set it so it creates a new system name every time it backs up, so you can see your sequence and dates. And our automatic name will include the file plus the date, if you saw up here, System 2009, and we put some numbers there to show when this was executed. And then you can restore the system in the same way. Bring back an old file and then run it from there, and you can delete some of your older backups that you had. And again, this is scheduled like a preset. One thing we added recently is the ability to go to, we call it an external preset, and you can send a preset to an IP device. Many of sites that do TVs wanted to bring their projectors under control as well. And so without adding any equipment, all they have to do is put in the address of the projector. There's a port where the commands go to, and you look at the manual of the projector and put the commands in that you want to send to the projector, usually turning the projector on and off. So this way, you might have a site that has many displays connected to the RF, and then you have projectors that are not connected to the RF, well, you can bring those into the master schedule by doing Ethernet commands. And those are the concepts between presets. In the next segment, we'll show you how to combine presets into schedules and alerts.